Hello and welcome on this Medium Day. And thank you for joining my talk, which is titled Know Yourself. I will be sharing a snippet, piece of my journey as a writer, from becoming a writer to getting published and thereafter. So welcome. My name is Priya Tandon. I am a writer. I am a life coach who work and write under the name of the Soul Sutras. I am also an editor for the publication called Be Open. And on this platform today, I invite all of you who are listening or will listen to this recorded talk to be a writer for Be Open. As the name says, the publication accepts writings on diverse topics and subjects. And we love to work with new and seasoned writers alike. I have the absolute pleasure of working with Cheyenne's. She's the publication's founder who has built the publication from the ground zero. So I just want to give her a quick, big shout out to her. And thank you to Medium for this platform and all the attendees who have come together today to listen to each other, including myself, who is just trying to talk, from my heart. Today on this Medium Day, as I said, I want to share my journey as a writer. And I want to begin by asking, why people write. Why do people want to write? It's not that, one day people became tired of just talking, so they decided that we're going to write. It's not that, one day we woke up and we said, let's publish a grand literary work today. At the heart of it, communication is a basic need for humans, but communication does not always mean that we are expressing ourselves from the deepest corners of our heart. And therein, for me, enters writing. In one way or another, we want to give voice to sometimes the bubbling joy in us, more times the tumultuous waves in the ocean of grief and pain inside us. Writers, as we know, we are known to touch the sensitive nature of life in words, whether it is amidst a good chuckle or a tragic event in life, or just admiring the finer, beautiful verses of this universe in poetry. For me, my writing journey started after some extenuating circumstances that left me with a sea of unexpressed emotions, feelings of pain and grief that no dam could stop, and all those spilled onto pages filled with words. One of the quotes to sum up how I started to write is from Quentin Tarantino. It goes like this: a writer should have this little voice inside of you saying, tell the truth, reveal a few secrets here. And another one from Alice Hoffman: writers don't choose their craft. They need to write in order to face the world. And that's so true, at least for me. Many of my fellow writers I have worked with have shared the same sentiments about writing, about their journey. More often than not, we are trying to give a voice to our inner world that is looking for a way to find expression in the outer world. And to give expression to the inner world, it is a step in the right direction to get to know ourselves. And that is the theme of my talk. Self is vital in self-love. Self is vital in self-care. But how to know oneself is a vast topic that I often speak about when working with my clients in the coaching practice. However, I see how some concepts can be applied to becoming a writer and which helped me. And those can be summed up in two words: self-awareness. What does self-awareness mean? For me, it meant being conscious of what makes you as an individual, what puts a smile on your face, what gets you out of the bed in the morning, your conscious feelings and emotions, your inner strength and weaknesses that fuels your character, your desires, what made you smile or what made you uncomfortable. It all begins with the self before it transforms into words on pages as a writer. Being self-aware will give you the confidence to start your writing journey, but you will also be able to apply the same awareness to your writing by better empathizing and understanding the topics and situations you want to write about. You will be able to write consciously and respond consciously to the reader's feedback as well. Self-awareness, how can that be accomplished? Self-awareness can only be accomplished if we turn inwards and focus on our conscious thoughts and emotions. And this was the most important lesson for me as a writer who was graduating from hesitations about writing to being a writer on platforms like Mediums and alike. However, we must remember that most of us fear looking inward, and that fear is very real. We fear who we will find inside of us because most of us bury the real us deep inside under the cloak of distractions and expectations from others. Sometimes even a painful memory or a traumatic experience further buries the real us, never to surface. Writing was a process that helped me discover myself as if I was peeling the layers of an onion, and it helped me move through pain and grief. Now, this also reminds me of a very famous poet, Charles Bukowski, where in the poem, So You Want to Be a Writer, he describes the courage needed from within to be a writer. And the few who are fated to be a writer are also destined not to lead a tranquil life. Few lines from the poem. If it doesn't come bursting out of you, in spite of everything, don't do it. Unless it comes unasked out of your heart and your mind and your mouth and your gut, don't do it. If you have to sit for hours staring at your computer screen or hunched over your typewriter searching for words, don't do it. If you're doing it for money or fame, don't do it. He further goes on to say, when it is truly time, and if you have been chosen, it will do it by itself, and it will keep on doing it until you die or it dies in you. There is no other way, and there never was. So there you have it, if you want to be a writer. Next, actually submitting an article or your writing. Let's talk about that. I wrote an article or a few lines, or I poured my heart out, but now what? My heart is pounding like a drum, and I don't want to press the submit button. As soon as I submit, it will be public, and my friends, family, and everyone will see it. Yikes. I remember when I wrote my first article on Elephant Journal, I hesitated so much to submit, not because I doubted my writing, but I was so afraid to put myself out there. What will people think? What will people say? What got me through was the message my article delivered. As the saying goes, if a tree falls in the forest and no one is around to hear it, does it make a sound? So the lesson here is, if you believe in your message, if you believe you have something to express that can help your reader, maybe on a similar journey as you, then please hit that submit button. You will be amazed at the responses you will get from total strangers. Knowing that your words touch someone or help someone is the biggest and single most motivating factor for writing for me. One of the simplest example of writing that I could give on why we should overcome the hesitation to submit is an article I wrote a few years back. It was at a time when I was in pain, and being an admirer of Dr. Maya Angelou's work, her poem, Still I Rise, inspired me. The poem is empowering, as we all know it, and we feel the power of love for oneself like lava through our veins as we read her words, and that is exactly what I wrote, filled with emotions that day. I just wrote a few lines on the poem and included Dr. Angelou's poem in the article. I wasn't expecting much. To my astonishment, the article reached over 400K readers, and I received messages like this one that I would like to read. I'm a single mother in my early 60s. I fell with my face flat in the gutter and almost lost my only child almost 5 years now due to actions of people closest to me and love dearly. Though I'm still on ground, I have managed to crawl out of the gutter. Thank you so much, Priya, for sharing Dr. Maya's poem in such an inspiring and powerful way. With this in mind, still I rise. Another one. I'm an RN and grad student sitting in temporary housing. I've been asked to leave my home. My phone is not working. I'm wondering what my next move is and worried about myself. Will I see my family ever again? Will they be okay until I can get to them? Thank you, Priya, and of course, my humble thanks to Dr. Angelou for reminding me that still I rise. The only reason for me to share these messages with you all is to share how powerful and humbling writing can be in the same breath. The fear of failure on the one hand, or the fear of success, can be both a hindrance when it comes to submission of your writing. The lesson here is to do it anyway. We do not know what anyone is going through and how your words will touch a person. Focus on yourself and the message you want to deliver, because again, if a tree fell in the forest and no one heard it, then did it really fall? Lastly, show up. I recently had to move in less than a year unexpectedly, and I had no dedicated time for preparation for this talk. And I am actually talking from a fort of unopened boxes, but I knew that I should not back out, so I showed up. The lesson: there will always be circumstances around you which will affect you in many ways, but the trick is to manage yourself in a way that you can be there effectively. So just show up and submit. Again, to quote Bukowski, you will die a fighter. You will be honored in hell. The luck of the word. Go with it. Send it. So go ahead and hit that submit button. Next. You took the plunge, or a leap of faith. And with all your heart, you submitted an article. Now what? There is self-doubt. For some, the imposter syndrome kicks in. And for me, it was the yelling in my head that said, "What did you do? Unsubmit, unsubmit, delete, delete, delete." I badly wanted to hide and pretend that it wasn't me who submitted the article. The best thing about writing platforms like Medium is that it invites everyone to write, from beginners to seasoned authors. One can mostly write about anything from anywhere. And hopefully, this is just on a side note, the external views and short poems will start counting towards earnings, but there is nothing that prepares one for the internal psychological chaos of self-doubt. So how did I overcome this phase? I always reminded myself that I'm learning, I'm growing. Along with it, I also embraced seeking help and wisdom from people in the field. Knowing when to seek and when to accept help is also the key. I do not claim that I know everything, but I am open to learning. Also, remind yourself there are moments when each of us has doubted ourselves, and that is perfectly normal. This is what that makes us human. Well, somehow you manage to get past the chaos in your mind and you start to see a like or claps and a comment on your submission. The heart wants to explode. You read the comment, and now engage. Engaging with your readers not only boosts your learning and in turn skills for writing, but also your confidence as a writer. And gradually you will find the engagement rate with your articles increasing. Engagement is not only beneficial for you as a writer, but it offers a chance for the readers to know you more. And this is where you make those beautiful connections. And when writers comment and engage in each other's articles, we create a healthy ecosystem of give and take. A deep understanding of how a writer gets established with the reader, with the help of a unique bond formed between readers and writers and fellow writers, and that becomes your ecosystem. This is a win-win for everyone, and of course, for the platform, any platform that you write on, that you would choose to write. So with this, I want to conclude my talk. I hope my journey, and the snippets that I shared today will help someone who is starting to write, and it also has nuggets for the established ones. I want to thank you for listening to me as a writer. And again, I would like to extend that invite again to write on Be Open. And also I invite you to reach out to me at any time on the social media handles or on Medium for any other further questions or any kind of discussions. I'm happy to be there. Thank you again and enjoy your day. Thank you so much.